The road ahead, it twists and turns, and the sun beats down at it.
Hey, good morning, friends. It is a beautiful Wednesday morning, and today I'm going to give you a little bit of a garden update on our kitchen garden, our family garden, and talk to you a little bit, show you some of the components of our watering system. So in the kitchen garden, we have a wide variety of greens and just tons of vegetables coming on out here. Sometimes when we have more than we can eat, we also share these and sell these as part of our market garden because it just grows so much. But the kale plants are looking good, Swiss chard's looking pretty good, butter crunch lettuce and Master Chef lettuce. I was able to get some more of the Master Chef planted yesterday, and some more arugula, a little bit more butterhead lettuce planted yesterday. Haven't planted squash yet. And we have our strawberries that just have a ton of beautiful flowers on them. Can't wait to start getting these strawberries off of here. There's a nice red one right there, starting to turn colors. He'll be ready in a day or so. Also, we have these little hoop structures that we put over our beds in the winter, and we can extend the season by keeping them warm under there longer. And in the summer, we can continue to grow lettuces and things that are sensitive to the heat. We can grow longer by keeping those shaded. In this bed, we have lots of carrots, beets, daikon radishes, and rutabagas coming up there. I showed you the other day in a video these flowers on these onions, on the chives. These guys are really pretty flowers. The chives are really good to cook with. Thyme's looking good. Fennel. And all those herbs are looking really good. Got a few extra lettuces that got planted here. Some more lettuce, some spinach. Everything's growing pretty well. Managed to get this end of the bed over here cleaned up, and yesterday finished planting the remaining starts that we had for the rainbow Swiss chard. So to help us keep up with the watering, we have installed a 4-way timer, very programmable. We've really had good luck with this. We have the irrigation water lines that come out of the timer, and ours is set up so that our our kitchen garden here is set up in 4 zones. So we'll have a couple of the beds that are 1, 2, 3, and the far ones are number 4. So the main lines come out. We put a water valve on each of the beds so that we can turn the water off to a given bed. And then depending on the crop, one of my favorites are these micro-irrigation soaker lines. They're really good at distributing water along the bases of the plants and not wasting water, and just do a really good job. And I'll show you some of the parts for these things in just a minute. A pair of pliers I left behind, apparently. But you can see again how we use a water valve to turn off individual beds, and then these micro-irrigation lines that water all of this. They also have micro-irrigation spray heads that we can water overhead with, and we have a water valve on each of those so that we can turn them off individually. So if you can see across the back of that bed, we have the main irrigation line just runs across the top of the raised bed, and then the water lines run at whatever spacing we have in there. One of the things that we do, in fact, I'll show you, I did a couple of them yesterday. It's about time to stop watering our garlic, so I removed 2 water lines. I removed 2 water lines from the garlic yesterday, moved them over there to the rainbow Swiss chard, and when you remove one, there are these things called goof plugs, but they're great for taking out or putting a filler in each place that you remove the water line. And of course you can take those out and re-add a new water line anytime you need to. So I'll show you some of the components, some of the parts that we use for our micro irrigation lines. And I've got this little toolbox here, and I have these that terminate the ends. I have extra spray heads. These are the goof plugs to fill those in. They have all kinds of little water valves, so you can stop and start water where you want. Connectors, all different angles. That's a 90. Then there are straight ones, and there are T's. Those are for connecting the irrigation lines. And there are different spray heads too. These water individual sections in a round space. And in the bottom of the box here I have this handy tool which puts the holes in the lines in the irrigation lines so that we can add the smaller lines to it. Now this is the micro irrigation soaker hose, and this is the regular micro irrigation just water line. It's not perforated. So those are some of those components there. You can find all of these parts. My favorite place to get them is at Home Depot. There may be somewhere you can get them less expensive, but Home Depot has some of the best selection of all the different parts for putting those together. Out in the market garden, or in the field, I don't have much of a watering system set up yet. Hope to get more of that done this year, but I'll show you a few of the components that I've been using in the past, and give you a little tour of an update of what's going on in the field. So we have these 6-foot T-posts that we can drive in, and we have these water irrigation heads that we put on the top of those. So water line comes in here. Of course you can adjust it to where you want it to spray, and you can also add an additional water line to continue it on. So we've got a series of these, and we'll put those up strategically in the field here to water as large of an area as we can. Out in the field we have these irrigation lines, which I haven't put in yet, but the irrigation lines will go between those heads to deliver the water. While I'm waiting to get those set up, it's just using a simple hose reel and a 100-foot garden hose. The hose reel makes it really easy to go up and down each of the rows. So out here in the field so far, I have managed to get, I think, 7 tomato plants planted. It's actually on my list. I'm going to get some more of these guys planted today, but these are gold nugget cherries, and we'll get these guys planted today. The rest of them, if we can. In the greenhouse, we still have carrots. We've just been harvesting a few of those for our own dinners, and hopefully we'll have some of these guys left for sale when we open the farm to people to come in on the weekends and buy our produce. And still have some rows. These area right here, this is going to be more of the tomatoes. These are going to be peppers of many different kinds. Onions are looking really good. They're coming up and growing well. Potatoes are all doing well. The kale is doing good. The arugula is all sprouting and coming up, doing good. There's 2 different kinds of arugula in this row, and it's kind of spotty. I've always had a little bit of trouble getting the dragon arugula to germinate and come up here, but we'll give it a little more time. And then we have giant Swiss chard, which is starting to come up, and rainbow Swiss chard, which is just starting to come up. Over on this side we have lettuce, which is just starting to come up. This is a Master Chef blend. And then we have more lettuce that came up from our seed starts, and those guys are doing very well. And we have the scallions, which haven't come up yet. They take a while to germinate. We have spinach and carrots. And the carrots, they took a while to germinate, but you can see these guys are all coming up. These guys are coming up as well, and so is the spinach. You can see just beginning to sprout. All the spinach coming up. So just an update. We'll try to get as much planted today as I can, and start getting some of this watering and irrigation line all put in place. So even around our house, like on our patio cover, we have these irrigation lines, the micro-irrigation. They're very water efficient, and these ones that I have that are hanging up here right now are for hanging baskets. These will hang, you can see the hook there, these go in the hanging baskets to keep those guys watered. And so we've got those that go up there, and then in the flower beds themselves, which I'm gonna get working, we have the irrigation lines down here as well, and just really efficient in their water use. Even to our pots, like here on the patio, these pots are all on the micro irrigation. You can set the timer and adjust the water amounts that go to them, and do a really good job. We've got a lot of mint coming up here in this flower bed. But also I just got these strawberries in these hanging baskets, so they'll go into those irrigation lines hanging out there on the patio. Some of these guys already have some buds, blooms, and little strawberries coming out on them as well. So we need to get these watered this morning. They're doing good. And then our Meyer lemon tree here, this guy is doing really, really good. It's got, from the winter, we just moved it out of the greenhouse, and it has, I don't know, 5 or 6 little lemons coming on it, but those have been growing over the winter. And then we have lots and lots of flowers on this guy, so it is doing nicely, and will provide us with some nice lemons. So also we have our grapevines out here, and they've already flowered and putting on lots of foliage. But as you can see where they have flowered, they've got lots and lots of grapes going on. So the grapevines are looking really good. And on these we have in the main irrigation line, it hangs on the bottom wire, and then in each one we have a micro irrigation head that goes down low to the ground and waters each of these plants. So we can turn it on manually to operate this, but it is on a timer. So you can see the little, just a simple little garden timer there on a water valve. And so when it's time and we need to start watering these guys regularly in the summer heat, we can easily do that. But you can see how well these guys are putting on lots of grapes this year. So this is their 3rd year to grow, and hopefully all of these guys will provide us with some beautiful table grapes. I guess the sign of a busy mind is a busy workbench, and there's so much clutter on my bench. I'm gonna have to clean it up when I get to it. But what I wanted to show you here on the workbench is this Boogie Blue Plus. This is an inline water filter that removes chlorine and other chemicals that the cities and municipalities put in their water supply. It removes those, so we're going to be putting these in those irrigation lines as well.